Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to this brand new stream where you learn how to play 1d4 with white. And with me, I have my very good friend Armin Juhasz from Hungary. Hello, Armin, how are you?
Hi, I'm very glad to be here, and I hope you guys will learn a few things from me. And of course, I am happy to teach some new techniques, and I hope you will leave some comments and participate with us.
Yeah. I think everyone is very excited to learn 1d4, but who's the most excited?
What about you?
Yes, it's me because I'll tell you why. Because I used to play D4, okay? And then I started working for Chess Base India, and I have my company and I have to do a lot of things. So I said, well, let's get back to knight f3, c4. D4 has a lot of theory, and of late I've started to play again. And I was like, how should I get better at D4 again? How can I, get back all the theoretical stuff? And then I saw that you've written a book, and I'm like, I don't know if someone else is going to learn something or not, but I want to learn today. I'm sure people are also waiting to learn D4, but it's a great pleasure to have you, and I am very keen to learn from you.
Thank you very much, and I hope I will be able to show a few new things at least.
Yes. How did you like our thumbnail, by the way? It's something that we created. I don't know if you've checked it. Look at this.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. It's very lovely, and yeah,
It
my
shows
brother.
you.
Yeah, my brother told me it's like a Terminator.
It shows you with a gun, and you're going to kill all the black openings. Slav, Cade, Grunfeld, QGD, Benoni, right? These are the five openings that you cover with white in your recent book, which is the Chess Bible 1d4. Isn't that correct?
Yes, absolutely correct. But I have to tell in the very beginning that it's not only an opening repertoire book, it gives you much more than the theory. So, unlike other books in this category, if somebody wants to learn middle game ideas, classical example games, typical tactics, famous games, and famous plans, he is going to be able to do that. So basically, these books help you to master 1d4, not only from a theoretical point of view, but more from a practical point of view. And in the end of each chapter, there is a little homework section. So
Ah.
if you want to learn by yourself as well, I give 5 example games which you need to analyze by yourself. With some ideas, I will give you all the time a few helps where were the critical moments. So if you want to learn individually, you will have the chance for it. So as a coach, I think it's very important to work on your chess alone as well, not only with your coach, because few players have time for chess all the time. But if they have by themselves, they need to do some work. Then the result will be even better than simply reading the book as well.
Okay, very nice. Someone in the chat asked, how can I get the book? Guys, I've put the link in the description. That may mean that you have to get the book from Europe. Uh, you can try to get it from that link, or subsequently, maybe there is a possibility that it may come to India. Thinkers Publishing Books are in India. So, but from the link, if you do order, you will get the book, and of course from all across the world people can order from there. However, I would recommend that you can watch this entire video, and then you can go and get the book, so you have better ideas and what you can expect from the book. Armin, shall we get rolling? Shall we get going?
Yes. It would be nice. Yes, cool.
Okay, fantastic. And guys, as mentioned, please be sort of interactive, get answer the questions that are being asked to you, and it'll be great fun. So what shall we begin with, Arvind?
So basically, let's talk about the basic 5 openings. What we will see in the book. So why did I choose these 5 openings? First of all, let me ask you, what is your opinion? These 5s are the most popular, or do you often see something else as well?
So I see, I'm very glad that you covered QGD. I'm also very glad. So just making the moves for people. QGD is D4, D5, C4, E6. This is faced a lot. I'm also very glad that you covered the Slav. I believe this is one of the most popular opening. And also King's Indian is definitely one of the most popular openings that people play. And lastly, you also went ahead and covered Grunfeld, which is supposed to be very dangerous opening for 1d4 players. So I think these four are actually the main lines against 1d4. Of course, adding in the Benoni, which you did, is a cool thing because I don't face it very often, but it's a good opening to know from white side. I mean, how to deal with it.
Yeah, the reason I decided to choose the Benoni because recently there were published books on this Benoni from Black's point of view. So even in Thinking's publishers, but also from Quality Chess, New in Chess. So many players started to play recently. So I was hesitating whether to choose the Benoni or the Dutch D4 F5.
Yes. Akshay Mohan in the chat is saying that Dutch, Nimzo Indian, and Bogo Indian are missing.
Yeah, well, actually, you are not going to be able to play Nimzo Indian if you follow my advice and Bogo Indian. So okay, let's cover the ideas which you will find in the book, the 5 ideas, and then we will see the other things as well. So let's start with D4, D5 maybe. Because that's a very common move. So I saw that a few comments asked me that what about the London system? Well, I know that the London system is very popular in the club level, but to be honest, as a coach, I usually like to teach something more complex and something more ambitious. I know that white has a tiny advantage in most of the variations, and it's very easy to learn. So if you do not have time to learn very complex line, and if you just want to play something very solid, I think the London is a good thing to do. And many top players plays bishop f4 in this system, or first knight f3, knight f6, and then bishop f4. That's also an option. But I believe to play 2c4 against both d5 and both against knight f6 is simply more ambitious. And as a reason, I think it's more ambitious, it's more practical, and it's much easier to go wrong with black.
Right. But also with white, you have to work a bit harder. Yes, that is true. With c4. Yeah. So okay, I go c4 then.
Yeah, and here the two main options from black's point of view is e6 and c6. Against both of the variations, I will recommend something a bit unusual and more practical. So the readers don't need to learn lots of theory. Of course, they need to put some work in it. And for example, against c6, I'm going to recommend knight f3, knight f6, the main move, and in this position g3.
Really?
Really g3 is
when I was an active player, maybe 3-4 years ago, at that point g3 was considered as not very ambitious, and they said that you can just take this pawn, and it seems like these lines give black quite good equalizing chances. It maybe even has a great position. Black has a great position.
Yeah, against g3, black has several options. D takes c4 is one of the most ambitious ones. So black can play g6 and transpose to some sort of King's India or Grunfeld setup. Black can even play e6, which most of the times transposes to some sort of Catalan system after bishop g2. Also, we can try bishop f5 instead of e6. Well, I think e6 is not that common. So if you play the Slav, you like to put your bishop to f5 or g4 or bishop g4. I think these are the most common ideas. And the reason I chose this variation is that this is not considered to be that dangerous. So people do not spend so many hours on analyzing these kind of positions, but it can be very, very tricky because, for example, in this bishop g4 variation, in several cases, we do not play bishop g2, which might sound a bit interesting, but instead of playing bishop g2, we should play knight e5 directly.
Yeah. Hitting the
and
bishop.
for example, you go bishop f5, then we go c takes d5, c takes d5. Well, queen takes is also an option, but that's not that good. Then we go knight c3. And this structure reminds me of the exchange Slav. So c takes d5, c takes d5. But in several cases, instead of normal developing like bishop g2 and short castle, white will just simply play f3, which is a very ambitious idea, because in some cases we can play g4 or we can play even e4. So these lines are tricky, and if black is not so ambitious in this position and he just plays a move like e6, he can be in a very big danger very, very soon. And later we can check a game, for example, where a grandmaster lost very, very quickly in this variation. So this is, I think, an ambitious variation. So when we play 4g3 in this system, we do not only want to just play bishop g2 short castle, b3, bishop b2, and survive from the opening, and let's say, okay, maybe I have a tiny advantage, because when I play in some team championships, I sometimes see old people do this strategy and like, oh, I am a little bit better, I'm not going to get mated, this is a very solid strategy, and then we will see what happens. But we will be a little bit more energetic, and we will try to do something more fun and ambitious with the white pieces.
Fantastic. That is great. In the chat, we have someone by the name Spieler Shak.
Yeah,
Spieler Shak. Is that your brother?
Do you know what does it mean? Do you know what does it mean in German?
In German, yes, chess player.
Yes, chess player. Actually, that's a nickname, and actually, I think he is my brother.
Oh, nice, guys. I'm going to make Spieler Shak a mod on the channel, and he is my very good friend. In fact, he is my friend before you were my friend, Armin. His name is Christoph, and he's from Hungary. He's also an IM, and he made his first GM norm recently. Isn't it true?
Yes. We played together in the Austrian chess Bundesliga, and he made a GM norm. Yes.
So both brothers are IMs. I'll soon have Christoph on stream, and also they have another brother. So three of them. What's his name?
Agoston
Juhasz, and he is 2300 around,
yes,
rated.
2350. So he's pretty close to 2400. Yeah.
What a family.
Played in the first Saturday chess tournament last month, and he was extremely close to the IM norm. So if he wins his last game, that would be an IM norm. So he was very close. Unfortunately, he did not manage to win with the black pieces, but he was very close to it. So he's 15 years old, and he wants to be a chess master like us.
Are you their trainer, both of them?
Yes.
You train both of them?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Nice. Very cool.
Family company.
So you are no longer playing chess, right? You're just teaching now.
Well, I play as well, not in individual tournaments because, okay, here in this coronavirus pandemic situation, it's not really possible to play. But before, I'm playing in team championships very often. So I'm playing in Austria in the first or second Bundesliga. Also, I'm playing in the Hungarian First League, which is very strong. And also, I'm playing in the Budapest Team Championship. So I play like 2 or 3 games every month. So it's not a very big amount of games, but it's good to keep myself in shape and to choose new openings, try new ideas. So I want to be a grandmaster as well. So a few of the viewers asked me previously, like, what are my goals? And I want to be a grandmaster, but recently I focus more on teaching chess, but later we both want to be grandmasters with Christoph. And Agoston, he's not teaching; he's only going for the GM title. Maybe he will be even quicker than us.
Yeah, I hope so. And it will be amazing to have three brothers who are grandmasters. I think we know of two brothers who have been GMs. There are the Zigalko brothers. There are the Horvath brothers, who is your trainer as well as my trainer at some point. Horvath, Joseph Horvath. But three brothers, all three being grandmasters, I've never heard of it. Maybe there are none.
Yeah.
We know three sisters, the Polgar sisters.
Yeah.
But
also from Hungary.
Yes, also from Hungary. What's up with these entire families being very strong in Hungary? Fantastic. Okay, let's.
Well, actually, Hungary has a great tradition in chess, so it's a nice country to be a professional player.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so this is G3, and just one quick question for myself, and also someone asked in the chat, what happens after DC? Here.
DC, we are going to sacrifice the pawn, and we will play bishop G2 in this position.
Okay.
So we are going to sacrifice the pawn. What will you do next?
I was thinking maybe G6 is one possible line. Or
yeah, maybe... G6 is also a possible line, but I think it's maybe not the best one. So like if you try to save the pawn, maybe B5 is a possibility, or E6 is a possibility. So
let's
these
say
are
B5.
common options in a few. Yeah, in a few cases, black can save his pawn, but white will have great compensation for it.
Okay, got it. Okay, one question. If you go G3, black goes G6, what's your idea for this this sort of Grunfeld? Are you recommending to play the solid Grunfeld like this, or what?
Yes, and in this position, we play Queen B3. That's my recommendation.
Queen B3. Okay.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid and positional line which was played by several top players. And I believe white is doing very well in this position. Small advantage, so it's not a huge advantage, but much easier. So, for example, if you check the games of Morozevich, white is usually doing pretty well here. So black can play Queen B6, black can play A5, black can play D takes C4. These are all possibilities, but in most of the cases, white is just better, a bit better.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so well, this is all covered in the book. So for the Slav defense, well, if you play E6, that's the other main option in this position. And here I'm going to recommend the Catalan, which is let's say the brother opening of this previous variation, what we just checked together. So this knight F3 G3 opening, and here I'm going to recommend G3. In this position, so not knight F3.
Why specifically G3 and not knight F3?
This is a pretty modern idea, which was first played in the highest level by Caruana against Anand, because as we all know very well, Anand is very well prepared, and he's a huge opening expert. So he wanted to trick him a little bit, and in a few cases, we are going to delay knight F3.
Did the knight go to H3 in that game?
Yes. And there are a few variations where the knight goes to H3, which is very interesting because the sniper on G2 will be open. So black will have less simple plans, like A6, B5 is not going that quickly, for example. So this is the reason I recommend G3. And this is, I think, a good move order. So we can't really lose anything with this idea. So black normally plays knight F6. So he's still waiting for the plan. And now we play bishop G2. So still not knight F3. And in this position, black has several options. He can go for bishop B4 check. He can go for bishop E7, for example. That's a very common move. Also, D takes C4, of course, is a main move. But let me just show you one very important nuance between the two positions. So, for example, in this position, if you play bishop B4 check,
okay,
then white can go knight d2 instead of playing bishop d2. And this position is, let's say, not considered to be that good with the knight on f3 and with the bishop on f1.
So you're saying
then,
that if we begun with
yeah.
knight f3, knight f6, g3 check, and knight d2, this gives black like an equalish position, maybe castles, bishop g2, and b6. I believe this is one of the main lines.
Yes. Also, if black wants to be more ambitious, he can take on c4. He can take on c4 instead of castling, and maybe he can save the pawn. This is one option.
Right.
But if you do it with the bishop on g2, and for example, bishop b4 check, knight d2, and d takes c4, let's ask the audience what is the big difference between previous position and this.
Very cool, very cool. And Armin, I was going to tell you, do you have some questions for the audience? And thanks for asking. Okay, guys, what is the problem in this position? Aha, Padmaesh, well done. Nihilesh. By the way, these are all youngsters who are getting better at chess. And Ajan, Anthony, very cool. HKCR, Spieler Shack says, very tricky move order, love it. I think he also doesn't know what is there in the book, yeah? He is here to learn about it. Or have you shared with him?
Not really, it's a surprise.
Okay, fantastic. Yes,
these are my secret weapons, which I'm going to share with the readers.
Thank you for that. Epsha is right. Safal, Akshay Mohan. Yeah, well, chat is very strong here. Mihir Kanani, also you are right. Queen A4 check is what they recommend. And is that correct?
Yes, of course we are going to win a piece here, because after knight c6, we can just eliminate the defender, play bishop takes c6 with a check. And he has to recapture. And now we need to be humble and take the bishop, because if we play queen takes c6 and we want to win the house and take the rook on a8, that's too greedy, way too greedy. Then he has bishop d7 and the rook is protected. So we need to be humble. One piece is enough, I think, for
one piece is enough
to win the game.
True.
Yeah, so that's a nice thing. Yeah. So against the Queen's Gambit decline variation, I recommend this G3 system. And as you can see, both of the variations are a bit tricky, and they are not that common as the other variations. So it's good as a surprise. And for example, for the Catalan, I give many classical examples. So from Steinitz, you can also find a game from Lasker. From modern examples, Kramnik, Giri against, Giri played a very good game against Morozevich. So you will not only just see like, okay, this theory is good or bad, or do we have a plus equal, it's like a 0.20 or something like this. You will understand how to play this system. I think that's way more important, especially for youngsters to have a knowledge of the middle game plans as well.
Okay, perfect. So this is how you play d4. Just for my knowledge, if after knight d2, instead of taking you castle, then do you continue with the normal stuff with knight f3, castle, and so on?
Yes. I believe in the variation which you showed us. White is a bit better. So I think knight f3 is correct here. We normally place the knight on h3 when black plays d takes c4.
But if he takes it now?
If he takes it now, I think we play queen c2. We play queen c2, and now it's already dangerous. Yeah, let's go a4.
Okay, c6 is the standard way to...
Yes. Okay, great. You fall into my...
Oh, no. Yes. I know this stuff. Oh, nice one, guys. Okay, white to play and how to punish black's greediness here.
Famous trap in the Catalan.
Okay, very cool. I just fell into it, which means it's very natural, the best. I kind of thought I was saving a pawn. Ajan Anthony says 95. 95 looks like a decent move, but you can be more ambitious.
Yeah, after knight d5, I have knight d5, that's for sure. Or if I really want, maybe I can even take the pawn on d4, but knight d5 is the solid option.
Yeah,
I
d5.
guess. And I will maybe provoke e4, because if you play e4, your bishop on g2 will be a bit closed. So I think I will just move back my knight, and then already your pawn on d4 is hanging, and it's not so easy to defend.
Yes. So a lot of people in the chat want to play a takes b5 here in, sorry, just go back. Yeah, a takes b5, c takes b5, and knight e5. I'm going to go ahead and tell them that you need to find a better move than knight e5, right?
Yes. Knight e5, still I have knight d5. And
yes, this is a very common idea, guys, that you block with the knight. You might think that because the bishop is here, the rook is going to hang, you can't play knight c6, you can't play bishop b7, but there is knight d5, and black is doing okay here. So you need to find something better in this position. Yes, Safal Fazil, you are right. Bhavna Thakur, not 95, not 95. Abhinav Chaudhary, you are right. Venkat Rangan is from 9th standard. In his name, it's written. Yes, Venkat, you are right. Padmayesh, yes. Chetan Jain, absolutely right. Dipesh Shah, Aryan Yadav, Rakesh Mohanty, fantastic. Well done. Yes. Also, Monindra Nath, knight to g5. Is that correct?
Yes. Knight g5, because you can't go knight d5 here, because then I will play queen takes h7, and it will be a very quick game. Very quick game.
It will be like, oh, you saved the rook but lost the king.
Yes.
Doesn't work. This is very
not
cool.
so easy. Yes, and for example, in the Catalan chapter, there are a few traps, which is absolutely well known if you play the Catalan, and maybe it's not exactly in our repertoire, but it's very well known. Do you want me to show you a few other traps in the Catalan?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then let's go back to normal Catalan position. So not this bishop b4, but let's say, for example, bishop e7. The very classical line. It's the choice of the grandmasters usually.
Yes.
So we saw several games like this, I guess. Knight f3.
Yes.
Castles.
Yeah.
Castles.
Okay.
Let's say black plays c6.
And
Knight
also
c4.
Another main move is d takes c4 here.
Yes, that's also a very main.
That's a huge. It's called the open Catalan when you take here, and c6 is the sort of the closed Catalan.
Yes, exactly.
I'm very keen to know later how d into c4 works, but okay, we go here. c6 then.
Yeah, knight c3.
Okay.
And in this position, for example, there are several options, but let's check b6. That's a very common move.
Yes.
If black is not so well prepared and he is not so familiar with the move orders. And actually, I had a game like this against a pretty experienced international master, Eric Kislik from the United States.
I know.
And he played b6 in this position against me, and I had absolutely no clue, because I just learned knight bd7, and I was like, okay, I play something like bishop f4, and okay, the game ended in a draw, but it was definitely not the right move in this position. Yeah, we need to play.
One second. Yeah. I can guess the move, but I also want the viewers to guess in this position.
Yeah, sure.
So people can guess what white should play here. Although I have a move I have seen. There are these experts of this system in India. One is Abhijit Gupta, who is 5-time Commonwealth champion, and he always plays these lines with white. There's also Tanya Sachdev, who often plays this with white pieces a lot by putting the knight on c3. So I have seen their games, and let's see if yes, Yaroslav Pors. I think you are right. This is what I feel is the correct move. Who else? Ketul Chauhan says rook e1. All those who want to play e4 directly, guys, I don't think that is working, because e4 he'll just take with the pawn or with the knight. Both look okay, and black is doing fine. Bishop f4, Akshay Mohan. This seems bishop f4 is what is a normal move, right? We would call in this position.
Yeah, bishop f4 is a possibility. But after bishop f4, I think black will just play bishop b7, knight bd7. I think he's pretty okay. And in one certain moment, he can maybe consider to take on c4 and then play knight d5, because the bishop can be possibly misplaced on f4.
Right. Okay. Yes. So just a famous guy. Also, all those who said knight d2. Armin, this is my answer as well. Is that correct?
Knight d2 is a possibility. But,
it's wrong.
But we've got something much more active.
Do you want to put the queen above the knight here and then play that?
No.
No. Okay. So not even queen d3, because I guess it is hit by bishop a6, correct?
Yeah. I think this is still a variation, but against this move order, we've got something better. Really? Very ambitious knight.
Then maybe what I said is wrong with e4. Maybe I was wrong, but because I thought knight d2.
No, it's not e4 in this position. Usually, I like to teach to my students that here we need to create an octopus.
We need to create a
octopus.
Octopus. Okay. Yes, Margal Roland, who has been a regular viewer, says knight e5 here with 3 exclamation marks. Is that correct?
Yes, knight e5. Oh. And a knight in the center is what we usually consider to be an octopus, an animal with 8 legs, because he's controlling 8 very important squares from the middle of the board, and this knight is very tricky, and it opens the path for the bishop. The bishop on g2, the sniper, is creating some sort of pressure, and in this line there are 2 famous traps. And let's start with the first one. Okay. Against knight e5, a very common thing, which is usually working, except of this position. So if the bishop would be on d7, it would be a small mistake, because black can play knight f to d7. This is a common move.
But I can do it even now.
You can, but it's losing material.
Ooh. Ooh.
And actually, this knight f to d7 is a possibility. And the reason we go with the f knight is to keep the c6 pawn protected. So knight b to d7 would be not possible because of the simple knight takes c6. And the funny thing that when I played in Austria, one of my 2,400 player opponent almost immediately played knight f d7 in this position.
Really?
So that was interesting. Classical game, international master opponent.
I still, to tell you the truth, I'm still thinking how to get advantage in this, so it's not so simple.
I'm not going to tell you the moves. The viewers need to figure it out. And one little story. So I won against this international master, and 1 year later I played in the European Youth Championship against FIDE master from Serbia, and he went for exactly the same line.
Really?
That was very, very interesting. That
Thank God you're doing this video before I play you, because maybe another international master would have played this against you. So
So it was funny that if he would make preparation, he can find the game in the databases. So, but okay, he went for it and I won. I was very happy.
Okay, guys, white to play here. What would you do? And also, Joy Datta says knight on e5 is an octopus, is a new concept that he learned today, which is very cool. So nice to know this. Okay, guys, f4. All those who are saying f4, bishop f4, guys, these moves are not that tricky. Black will just play bishop d7 and then save himself. So you need to come up with something concrete, something which is a little bit more active. Okay, Padmash says c takes d5. Okay. Who else? Let me see who else has some moves. Paolo Nanelli says knight takes c6 here. I was also thinking about knight takes c6, but I don't see it somehow working, because knight c6, and yes, I can feel that there will be some tactics here, but doesn't work. Maybe if they do, let's see. Unconscious says takes on d5. Okay. Gizmo Girl also says takes on d5. But guys, taking on d5, you need a follow-up move as well. I mean, it's not just take and over. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And this move was actually played several times before. For example, one of the Horvat brothers had a game like this. So Grandmaster Csaba Horvat played against Anna Rudolph, a very famous YouTube star,
Yes.
international master,
Yeah.
woman grandmaster.
Very
She
well
played
known
knight F7.
commentator and streamer. And she played this, yes?
Yes, with the black pieces, yes.
Oh, now people are getting the hang of it. They want to do no, guys, not Queen F4. But is this right, Armin? You take on D5.
Yes, that's the beginning.
Okay, and now let's say there are two moves. One is to take on E5, and the other one is to take on D5 back. Let's say if he takes back here, I am keen on sacking the knight here. Is that correct?
Yes, knight takes d5, because the bishop is missing from b7.
Yes.
That's a very common idea. And after, well, actually, it's very difficult not to lose your rook. So
yeah, this is gone already. You lost a pawn, because if you take knight e5 now, of course you can even take knight e7 and just win this position. But even if you played de, this should be winning, right? Because after ed, bishop d5, and the rook is still trapped.
Yes, exactly.
And this also works when, if in cd he takes on e5, I think you just take back, and if he takes here, you just take on d5. Same stuff.
Exactly. So this move order is already bad for black. So knight fd7 is not working. But let's go back.
I learned something new. Yes, I learned this. This is very important. I didn't know it. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So in this position, let's assume that the opponent knows this trick, or actually he let's say he plays bishop b7. That's a very classical move.
Yes.
Now the same trick is not going to work.
Right.
Because he has a bishop on the diagonal. Now we can already play e4. E4 is a good move in order to get some space and fight for the center. And now one of the most common moves is knight bd7. We just simply develop the pieces, and let's say it looks normal. And again, white can win material.
Oh, really?
If we are clever enough. Yes, this is another famous Catalan trick, and I am analyzing such tricks in the book. So if one would like to play the Catalan, he has to know these kind of ideas, because trust me, even 2,300, 2,400 players can fall to these ideas.
I agree with you. Absolutely. Oh.
Do you know this one? Do you know this one?
No, I didn't know now, but I'm calculating, and I think I found it. But oh my God, this is brilliant. Guys, I've been playing these lines always with my knight on d2, Armin, in the Catalan, like this queen c2 line. So these knight c3 tricks with the knight here is something new that I'm learning today. Also playing an early knight e5. It's all very tricky stuff. Oh my God, does this really work? I can't believe that this works. Okay, let's see in the chat who found it. Earth Tech says CD, but I think Earth Tech, if you take CD, he will take back CD. So that might be an issue there. He says ED first, but black may recapture CD. Shak says knight takes c6. Bhavna Thakur says knight c6. I can't believe this move is working, but the more I look at it, it seems it's to go. Let's see. Nishchal says et5. Nishchal GS ED. Guys, if you take ED, he will take back with the c pawn. That is right? Armin?
Yes, I agree. So here we need to do something more forcing and give as little possibilities for black as we can.
Samik Dhar says knight c6. Exactly. And take this. This works. I can't believe it. And the thing is, okay, my calculations, bishop c6, you have to take e pawn.
Correct.
And you attack the bishop. Let's say if he saves the bishop here, now he's a piece up, but you have this intermediate push. And if bishop takes bishop b7, I'm a pawn up. And if
you have the pair of the bishops and a very nice center as well.
Exactly. And if he takes bishop takes g2, I will first include d takes e7, hitting the queen, and now I'm a piece. Now I'm again a pawn up here.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, in this position, white is an extra pawn. It's not that clear as the previous one, but okay, material advantage is a very nice thing after like move 13. So I think we can be
Absolutely,
happy with this trick.
absolutely. I mean, I would never complain if I got such a position out of the opening. And so instead, if he doesn't go back and he takes back, then the same concept works after CD, because now he cannot take. There are two defenders here, and once he goes back here, let's say bishop d7, then you go d6, hitting this guy, and once again this. Oh my God. This is too good, Armin. I was not aware of this, and I love how quietly you sit and you listen to me. As I'm like your student right now, learning from you.
I'm happy that I was able to show you something new. And yeah, these ideas can be used very easily, especially in online chess. So when you are playing a blitz or let's say rapid game, your opponent might play the first couple of moves very quickly. So he's not going to focus. And I had several games like this on chess or chess.com. So when I play online, I sometimes win in like 10 moves and like, oh, Catalan, I'm happy. So I have a few tricks in my pocket. So yeah, I like this system.
What's your ID on Chess and chess.com? People can follow you when you're playing.
Well, in Lichess, it's Centrum Shaktiskola. Maybe Christoph can send the name of it. Yeah, because it's in Hungarian. And in chess.com, it's MK Shaktiskola. It's also in Hungarian language. It means Center Chess School.
Okay.
The name of my chess school, because sometimes I play with my students, so like 2 versus 1, and they help me. They help me a little bit, but sometimes it's not a help. So sometimes it makes my life a bit more difficult, but challenge accepted. We have something like 2,650 rating points still, so that's very nice. In the Lichess Rapid section, I was in the top 5 a few weeks ago. So
what's your rating?
They're almost 2,700.
Wow.
On Rapid.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, Christoph has written, it's called Centrum Sakiscola on Lichess and MK Sakiscola on chess. Guys, you can follow him there, and he might be using all these lines he has prepared in the book, so you will get more ideas over there. Okay. Yes. Cool. So these are two brilliant traps, and it all begins with this knight jump to e5, getting this octopus knight on e5. Otherwise, you can't get these tricks. Nice.
Yes. So I think that was nice for d4, d5, and let's check the Indian defenses of the d4 knight f6.
Okay, just one last question before we move on. If here bishop g2, bishop e7, castle, what is it that you recommend after dc4 here?
In this position, queen c2 will be my recommendation, but not the most common variation. So not taking the pawn.
A4.
A4.
Okay.
And in this position, bishop d7.
Yes.
And for example, here one very tricky line, knight c3. Not capturing immediately, but to play rook d1 followed by e4 in several cases, and the bishop will be misplaced on c6.
Okay, so if he goes here like this, you play e4 or rook d1, and then there are always these.
Yes, and when the pawn is on e4, I can already jump knight e5 later, and the bishop is not going to trade himself for the other bishop. So the bishop on g2 is simply stronger than the bishop on c6.
So you are suggesting some very active and aggressive lines here as well.
Yeah. Also against d4 knight f6, some tricky lines and very practical lines. So your opponent will be most probably out of the book.
Okay.
I assume.
Let's go here. D4, knight f6 now.
Yes.
C4. Yes. And so if someone goes e6, you still go g3, correct?
Yes. And if d5, then we can go bishop g2. Well, in this book, I cover this position. So black can play c5. That's a different story. Or black can go bishop b4. That's again a different story. Yeah, these lines are covered. These lines are covered, but
Okay.
without d5. Without d5. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's, for example, yeah.
You mean without d5? Here g3 if c5 or if bishop b4 check, all of this is covered.
This is not covered. The after d5 it's covered. So like from the starting position of the queen's gambit decline variation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
So here knight f6, c4. Let's get to some g6 variations, which are always very, very interesting and more active than the Catalan and the Slav. So g6, and I like how you decide to take these main systems head on with playing the main lines.
Yes. Here against the King's Indian, I'm going to recommend the Petrossian variation with the white pieces, named after the Armenian world champion. So we play bishop e2. I usually start with bishop e2. There are very few little nuances between knight f3 or bishop e2. But for example, if you start with knight f3, there is one variation when black can play bishop g4 and knight fd7 in the near future, and is to delay castling. So if you play the main system, I would recommend to start with bishop e2 because you can't lose basically anything with it. I think this is simpler. So bishop e2, castles. That's the most natural position. And previously, I played bishop g5 for very many years. That's the Averbach variation. Yes. This used to be my main variation, but in the book and recently I play knight f3, the main variation.
So knight f3, and now after e5, we are in the mainline theory of King's Indian.
Yes, exactly. And now we go d5. We close the position immediately. This is called the Petrossian variation with the white pieces. And this is actually very ambitious. And I think this is going to create a real headache for black in the next couple of years.
Because nice.
It's played by several young talented players. So for example, there is a player from Belgium, Darda Daniel. He's almost 2,500 player, and he won 3 games in the last couple of months with this same exact variation, which I'm going to show you. So this game was this move was played by Kramnik against, for example, Nakamura. That was the first game in the highest level where they played one of the lines which I'm going to recommend. So I think this is a good line. What is your opinion about it?
Yeah. So firstly, people in the chat who are asking about what is the difference between Averbach and Petrosian. Knight f3 followed by e5 and d5 is known as the Petrosian system here. And if you play bishop g5 here directly, then it is the Averbach system. So in Petrosian, usually you develop knight f3, while in Averbach you play bishop g5. Also, knight f3, the main line after e5 is castles, and then after knight c6, white plays d5, and the knight sits on e7, and then the typical, this knight d7 or knight h5 followed by f5 ideas or knight e8 happen. But what Armin is suggesting, and what Petrosian also played back in the is to play here instead of castle directly d5, so that knight doesn't come to c6 at all. My only worry here, Armin, is that from what I know about this system is that black usually goes a5, then knight a6 or knight d7 and puts his knight on c5, and he's supposed to be doing quite well because you have shown your hand a bit too soon by pushing d5.
Yes, this is basically true, but another good thing from white's point of view that we did not play short castle yet. So in some cases we can play h4 and h5. That's going to be important. And also in some cases we are going to play long castles, so not short castle in this system. So against d5, if you are going to play a player who has more rating than 1,800, I think he will play a5. So I think 99% of my opponents played a5. Almost never ever somebody played knight bd7 on ideas like this. And here I recommend bishop g5. This is the most active move. h6. h6 is important move because if you go knight a6 here,
you can ask the chat what to do here.
Yeah, white has a very strong positional move, so it's not a tactic. It's not winning material like previously.
But positional chess is important, guys. Only if you keep making strong positional moves do you get tactical opportunities. So what should white play here? White's move. And Chetan Jain has sent a super chat saying, "Love you, Sagar. Big fan. Great stuff by you and Armin. Thank you so much." Thank you.
Thank you.
Padmash Jain says, "I am Daniel Darda, also played in Sunway Sitges where GM Leon Mendonza also played." Nice. I have heard of him and I know that he's a big talent. Maybe he's from Romania. Is that correct? Belgium. Belgium.
Yes, he's from Belgium.
Okay.
Agoston played against him in 2018 in the World Youth Championship, and Agoston won that game. So
nice. Nice. I'm actually going to follow Agoston a lot more now because 14 years old, 2350, that is some serious talent. V editor GM says queen d2, Rahul Khatwani as well, queen d2, Monindra Nath Das, queen d2, Vedant Srivastav, and yes, all those who say queen d2, I believe that is the right move, although Armin may surprise me now, but this prevents h6 ideas. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, not queen d2. Because now I see that after knight c5, perhaps the e4 pawn is under a little bit of...
It's going to be very difficult to protect the pawn because the knight on f6 is pinned. But still, knight e4 is a threat.
I like how Armin says no, and he says it very simply. You also feel very nice when he says no. Okay.
Yeah. So in this position, the square is actually correct, but not with the queen.
Oh my God! Then I have people who had said nd2, but I didn't call out their names. Let me do that. Yuan Tika, Yaroslav Pors. Who else here? Oh, now I get it. Okay, Evgeny Slutsker, and look at Padmash, very smart. Yeah, he says queen c2 and knight d2. So yes, knight d2 is the correct move, right?
Yes, knight d2 is the correct move in this position.
How do you explain this move, knight d2, and why is this a good move?
So basically, this is what we usually call in my chess school the magical regroupment. Because after this knight d2 move, the bishop is active on g5. It's not more passive on c1 anymore. And if black plays in the future something like f5, I will be able to play f3 easily. Or one other possibility is to play h4, h5 and go for the attack. And in several cases, this is going to be even more powerful than positional chess. Maybe not for going the checkmate directly, but in several cases, I'm going to win space and play for long castles in the future. And this is a very nice regroupment. So now black is in a quite serious trouble. So if you check this position, white has a huge performance here. So black is in a quite big trouble. So because the main reason that after h6, for example, right now, I can go back to e3. I'm not going to go to h4, and you do not have knight g4 anymore.
This is very important point, guys. Look at this. Knight g4 is now covered by the bishop, and next you can go h4, g4, just lunge the pawns at the white king, and this would be very, very dangerous. While in the game, if you instead of start with h6 instead of knight a6 here, then after bishop e3, I think, Armin, you want to go knight g4. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
So the regrouping is not happening. Like if here you give me one move, I'll be very happy to play knight d2 and just everything is set.
Yes, exactly. And this is the variation which I recommend actually for white. So still we go bishop e3 in this position.
Okay.
And if he's playing knight a6, it might be a transposition.
This is actually could be a small opening mistake here, because after knight d2, white has a clear advantage.
Yes, yes. So black needs to play knight g4. So again, if you play blitz or if you play, for example, bullet chess, your opponent might go for some wrong ideas. It's very easy to go wrong.
Very
Now
cool.
we go bishop d2. This looks quite ridiculous that the bishop is just losing tempos all the way. Petrossian usually played with bishop h4, not with this bishop e3 system. This was this became popular after the game of Kramnik. So bishop h4 is the classical line. That's way more popular. But recently we play bishop e3. That's the modern way of playing the position. So we force him. Come on, let's go knight g4. I'm happy to have the knight on g4. I go bishop d2. Again, if he plays anything else, I can play h3, and the knight is going to go back passively to f6. So the absolutely normal King's Indian move is f5.
Of course, I mean, if it's a King's Indian player and he gets a chance to play f5, he will.
Yeah, so in this line, it's very good that you can expect your opponent's moves. So it's no other chance. It's very easy for you to make preparation. Now we go h3. We send back the knight.
Okay.
Here, one of my opponents played knight takes f2. He believed that okay, he's a grandmaster and he's going to trick me and beat me in 10 moves, but this is not correct. King f2 takes on e4, knight takes, and queen h4 check.
Ooh, guys, this is very dangerous now. What do you play here as white? Is that a good question?
Yeah. This was very ambitious play, and he was very happy here. But okay,
he was a GM who played with you.
No, I played with the white pieces, and my opponent believed that he's playing in GM style. He was not a GM. He was around 2000.
Okay.
And I played king e3, and okay, king e3.
Because knight g3, there is e4, right?
Yes. He has
so
e4.
Here, then you have
actually after king e3, this position is completely winning for white. So my king is not in a danger because now your queen is hanging, and my king will play king d3, king c2, king b1. So you go give a check, I go away.
And if I play, let's say bishop f5, trying to make use of this, then you lose the queen. Right. So there's no time for that. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so you can't take here. So you have to go back to f6.
Yes, knight f6. Now the e4 pawn is hanging, so I need to take on f5.
Right.
Which is usually a positional mistake. We don't really like to take on f5, but in this position it's good.
I take with the pawn, right?
Yeah, if you take with the bishop, that's a positional mistake because then the e4 square will be under control. So this is not a correct move. Here, if I know correctly, maybe it's knight h4.
Yeah, knight h4 looks like a good move. Also, I was thinking bishop e3 with the idea of knight d2 could be a possibility. I don't know. But
yeah, I think this is good as well. Yeah, and the e4 square is going to be occupied by a knight.
Okay, so usually, I mean, if there's a King's Indian player who's a good one, he will take with the pawn because in that way he keeps control of these key squares in the center.
Yes, and here white has a K move. It's very difficult, so I would suggest to give it a try.
Yes.
But if somebody never seen this position before, it's quite challenging.
Okay, I want to try it. Let's see. So
this
now
G takes modern way of playing the position.
Sorry?
Modern way of playing the position.
Modern way. Okay, guys. White to play here, and Armin thinks you cannot find this. By the way, Gizmo Girl has asked an important question here. What if instead of knight f6, he first takes on e4? But I believe you can just take here, right?
Yes, and we have the e4 square one more time, and that's good.
Yeah, once you get your knight on e4 in King's Indian, it's very good because your knight is very safe in this position and your position becomes pretty good. So knight f6, ef, gf, and this is where you guys have to show that you are good enough over here. Okay, so we have Yaroslav Pors who says queen c1. This time I'm not going to judge anyone's answer because I've been surprised many times. Memento Mori, V Editor, GM, Bhavna Thakur, Nilansh Chobasya, Peter Cavanaugh all want to go g4. Wow, that was like real aggressive move here. G4 is what they want to play. Yuan Tikka says Kramnik versus Nakamura. Oh, nice.
Yes, yes, famous game, Kramnik Nakamura, London 2012. He knows something about this line.
Very cool. And Ashwat Raja says G4. Padmash says knight H4. Is G4 is the overwhelming favorite move in the position? Is that correct?
We will play G4 later, but not immediately.
Not immediately. Okay. So what to do here exactly at this moment? Maybe Queen C1. Start with Queen C1.
Yes, Queen C1. Queen C1 is correct.
Queen C1, guys. Look at this move. Hitting the H6 pawn. And yes, you want to play G4, but maybe first provoke King H7. No?
Exactly. King H7 is a mistake already.
Really?
But
Okay.
that's the most common move.
I mean, I can imagine black player playing King H7. What else to do? Your H6 pawn is hanging.
Yeah. I had this position 3 times in classical chess, and all of my opponents played King H7 in this position.
Wow.
So
your actual recommendations are filled with these little traps, huh?
Yes, we have a few traps. I think that's a good thing.
Very good. Yeah, it's very nice. Just a second.
Yes. Yeah, in this position, black has 2 other moves instead of King H7, F4 and E4. They are most probably better tries than King H7. Okay, I saw one player played H5 in this position, but that looks a little bit positionally bad because it weakens the square. So like the G5 square is going to be very weak. So most probably the best move is F4, what Nakamura played against Kramnik. And in this position, we play G3, which again looks a bit surprising because we open up the position in front of our king, but in the near future, we are going to play Queen C2 and long castle, so we don't need to be afraid of getting mated in this position. So after G3, black most of the time plays E4.
Yes, E4 looked like, I mean, he's coming at you.
Yes, knight H4. We put the knight to the edge of the board because he wants to reach the G6 square.
Yeah, okay, 1 second. Knight. Okay, knight H4.
Knight H4, exactly. And in this position, for example, if black plays anything else, not the main move, I think he will be in a very big trouble. So the rook goes to G1 in the future and is just very dangerous. So black has to play E3.
I was thinking F3 here.
F3 is a possibility, but that maybe helps me because I can play bishop D1, bishop C2.
And then this pawn is also hanging here.
Yeah, the pawn is hanging, and if you play King H7, actually you can't really do anything else to protect the pawn. Then after a move like bishop C2, the pawn is going to be hanging on F3.
Oh, this is horrible. Even F3 is hanging. Yeah. Okay, got it. So this does not work. So you have to play E3, and I must take here now because my bishop is trapped.
Yes. Now the pawn takes the G3 pawn.
Okay. And now F takes G3. Yeah.
Yes. And now white plays knight G6. Knight G6. And this is a very interesting position. And here Nakamura made a mistake because he played the wrong rook move. We can ask the audience. Actually, it's not an easy position, but you've got 50% of chance to find the correct move.
So these
rook
are
F7 or rook E8. Which one is the better? Let's play a better move than Nakamura.
Okay. Let's see.
And actually, the idea is very important. If black plays the wrong move, he will find himself in a very big trouble.
Okay, cool. So here rook F7 or rook E8. I have to check my phone here with just the battery dying here. Can you see the answers, Armin, in the chat?
No. No. I'm not sure where can I check those.
Okay, 1 second. Let me load the answers, because I had my phone here when I was checking the answers, but the battery just died, so I was just trying to get it back. But just a second. I will see it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have Peter Capeno who says Rook A7. He's playing the other rook there. No, that would be horrible. Gopal Gaurav says Rook F7, V Editor GM, Rook F7, Dipesh Shah, Rook F7. Oh, everyone wants to go Rook F7. Yaroslav Por says Rook E8, and I have understood that to take Yaroslav Por seriously, basically. He's coming up with some of the right moves in the past. So is Rook E8 a better move? But Rook F7 is the more is the move that everyone wants to play.
Yes, exactly.
Rook
So
E8
Rook
is
F7 is Rook E8 is the exclamation mark move. Yeah, that's the good move. And Rook F7 is a small inaccuracy because the Rook from E8 controls the E4 square, and that's going to be very important because in the future Black will need to play Knight E4 followed by Bishop F5. That's going to be the counter play, and the Rook on F7 is controlling the F file, but that's not that important here. So
can you already
F file,
go E4?
No, here we go Queen C2. Yeah, we go Queen C2 followed by long castles, and I think I'm absolutely fine. So like long castles, my king is in safety, and then Rook G1 collecting the G3 pawn. So Black needs to be extremely quick. In this position.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah. Well, basically this is a little part of the theory, and yeah, if you want to master this Petrossian system, you need to check the details here. But White is, I'm pretty sure he's better in all of the variations, and it's extremely dangerous. So as you can see, the position might look a little bit scary from White's point of view, but I believe that you know the theory, you know the games, you know the attacking plans, but what Black knows about this position, this is very rare, and it's only played in the highest level. So, and it's already move 17. This is already move 17.
Yeah, so a lot of theory here.
A lot of theory here, yeah. But
you know, one of the things that people keep asking me is how to remember theory, because they study it and then they forget it. As a trainer, and you know, you work with so many youngsters, what's your recommendation for remembering theory?
Actually, in the book, I give a list how to memorize variations.
So it's not just an opening book, huh?
Yeah, not just an opening point. So let's keep it as a secret. So if you guys are interested, there are several steps how to master a new opening, and that's very educational, I think. And that's the way I learned theory, and that's the technique which I learned from several grandmasters as well.
Right. Okay. So in the book, you will get to know how to remember and memorize theory. So this is King's Indian. Basically, we were looking at Bishop G7, E4, D6. Bishop E2 is what Armin suggests is the more accurate move order. Knight F3, E5, D5, A5, Bishop G5, and now H6. Important move. This is the main move here. Otherwise, there's Knight D2 coming up. So H6. This is the main line here. H6, and then Bishop E3, Knight G4, Bishop D2, F5, H3, Knight F6, and then take, and guys, you know this Queen C1 move here, followed by by the way, King H7 we did not mention, but I believe that G4 could be a good idea here.
Yeah, G4 is the correct move here, because in several cases when you take the pawn, I can recapture, and the rook from H1 will have a very strong attack against the king and the H6 pawn. So this is already a difficult position. So for example, Knight G4, in several cases I have Knight G5 check because of the pin, and nice. That's very dangerous plan, and to place the knight on E6 in the future. So yeah, these are very difficult positions from Black's point of view.
Got it. Okay. So this somehow takes care of the King's Indian. What
Yes.
about the real? If these days, if you play d4, your worst enemy is the Grunfeld.
Yes. Actually, I started to play knight f3 a few years ago because I was afraid of the Grunfeld, and
You mean move number one?
So I played move number one, knight f3, and I think against the anti-Grunfeld, it's much easier to find the advantage than the normal Grunfeld. So this is the reason I started to play knight f3, and against here d5. I think White has a few ways to get a better position. The main move is queen b3. I think that's one way of playing the position, and I think White is a bit better in these kind of positions because we will make use that the pawn is on d2, not on d4. So whenever Black plays knight takes c3, which is a common move in the Grunfeld, I can just simply capture with the queen, and your rook will be in a very big trouble. So
because the pawn is not on d4, correct?
Yes. So this is a very nice position. So you need to play f6 or rook g8, but both of them are very ugly in this position. So after f6, the a to g8 diagonal weakens. So I play e4 and I place my bishop on c4.
More ideas in knight f1, knight f3 as well. But then at some point you decided that you have to play the main line here.
Yes, exactly. And after d5, I recommend to play knight f3.
Okay.
This is very classical. Bishop g7. Black do not really have anything else. And in this position, h4.
What?
h4.
Really? You are going for this aggressive line, yeah?
Yes. Aggressive, sharp, and I think good line for variation, which was played by Vidit several times with the white pieces.
Yes, Vidit has played this with white very successfully as well. I think there was this famous game he's played. I mean, he's played several. There's also, I've seen some very top GMs playing it, but there are two ways for Black to play, right? Because Black can be very solid and play c6, and Black can be really aggressive and go for these lines where he plays c5 here.
Yes. But c5, I'm not sure is a correct move immediately. So c5 is a very common answer here. But after c5, we can take the pawn. And I think in this position, we are doing very well after d takes c5, because the usual trick is that most of the people who likes to play h4, they play it before knight f3. So without the move knight f3. So if we go back to move 3, d5, they like to play h4 now. And I think this is an inaccurate move. This is not so clever, because now, for example, Black can play c5. And if I take it, he has d4. That's a very important difference between the two positions. So first I play knight f3, and after bishop g7, now I play. This is the reason we need to take control over the d4 square. And
so
Black has
h4, Armin, what is the idea of this move? Is your plan, I mean, it's not like just go h5 and why does White play h4 in such positions?
Because Black already played g6, we can come with this hook idea of playing h4 and h5. And in several cases, when I play h5, if he takes with the knight, then the d5 square and the d5 pawn is going to be weak, so I can maybe win a pawn there.
So if castles, let's say, for example, you can go h5 already.
Yes, exactly. And not only just, for example, knight takes h5, c takes d5. I think it's better to take here with the pawn. And in several cases, the knight will be out of the game. I can play in the future and for the attacks of placing my bishop onto g5, queen d2, long castles. That's also a possibility. I can secure my center with e4. So I have attack here. So h4 makes absolutely more sense than when your opponent plays g6. So this is a general rule. And actually, that's interesting that even in the very first move, after e4 g6, not the d4 opening, but after e4 g6, I think h4 is absolutely a reasonable move. So like That's absolutely a possibility. And yeah,
You
if
you
you are
mean
E4
you
player,
mean e4, g6.
yeah,
Here h4 is a good move.
yeah. I actually lost the game in Zalakaros where we played against each other with the black pieces in this variation against Balázs Csonka. He's now 2,500 player, and he played h4 against me. But several other GMs tried h4 in this position. So yeah, against g6, h4 is usually a good idea.
Very cool.
So this is a sharp line against the Grunfeld as well, and well, black has several options. He can play with h6 in this variation. He can play with h5. That's a very common answer to meet h4 with h5. And after h5, if black plays h5, then black has a positionally bad position because we can place our bishop on g5. And again, if we compare two lines, this is a very common system with the pawns on h2 and h7, and then black goes usually knight e4 in order to attack the bishop on g5. But now it makes no sense because the bishop is well protected.
Yeah.
So after c takes d5 or knight takes d5, I think maybe both works, but this is just not working. So I think this idea is clever, and well, this book is mainly for club players, and most of your opponents will fall into some sort of trap. So not for Magnus Carlsen, but actually Carlsen had a famous game for h4 against Fedosayev.
Really?
So
with white?
Fedosayev with the white. I think Carlsen was playing with the black pieces, and white was Fedosayev h4, and black played c6. He played the c6 move, and then bishop g5. That's my recommendation too. And I think white is a bit better because usually in the Grunfeld, black likes to play with c5, not with c6, in order to fight for the center. c6 is more like a Slav type of movement, type of position.
Christoph mentions in the chat that Fedosayev almost beat Magnus in that game, but finally it ended in a draw. Carlsen opted for solid c6 here. Yes, exactly. So that's my recommendation. Again, it's an ambitious line. So if you guys like to play active chess and you are open to learn aggressive lines, I think this is perfect for you. Okay. I just have one question here. Let's see. Yeah, sure. C6, bishop g5. Okay, let's say castles. Should we go cd5 here? So after short castle, I need to think a bit. After c6 castles, I take on f6. You take here, and I take back. Sorry, bishop takes. Then I go h5. You play then later on. Maybe you take on g6, maybe cd and e3, something like that, or. Yes, that's going to be the setup. And in several cases, if I play c takes d5, your bishop is not going to be that well placed on f6. So the bishop on g7 likes to play positions where he can go for c5. For example, let's say instead of h5, h5 I think is a better move, but let's imagine we play c takes d5. This is called the exchange Slav structure. And in the exchange Slav, we don't play g6, bishop g7. We keep the bishop on the a3, fa diagonal. Right. So this bishop on f6 is not standing that well. So it's not like a normal Grunfeld. And white has easy play here. Okay, e3 and later h5, and we will be able to play a normal positional game. So even from these kind of positions, sometimes you can get a normal positional play where the bishop is misplayed on f6. Right. Okay, got it. So this is very cool. I think h4 is something that people should explore. I myself have played it on a couple of occasions, and I think with good success. It's a line which I have enjoyed playing. Okay, cool. And finally, the Benoni with the black pieces. So c5 in the second move. D5 and E6. So okay, this is not that common recently, but a previous generation
started to believe in this system because of Mikhail Tal. So we know the very famous Soviet world champion who played several amazing games in this system with the black pieces. And I remember one of your interviews when you asked positions from Dubov. And one of it was the very famous game of Mikhail Tal in a Benoni, where he sacrificed his queen. So yeah, this is I think, a well-known system. Yeah.
So Benoni is played a lot, and actually it's played by people who love aggressive positions, as we have previously discussed that black has this backward kind of sort of this weak pawn on d6, but he gets a queenside majority for that. And many strong players have opted for that variation. Vugar Gashimo is one of them who has played it a lot. He is now no longer alive, but he was one of the biggest adherents of the opening. So here, do we go e4?
Yes, we go e4. Also, Topalov played it a few times in the highest level. Topalov played a few games. Yeah, g6, bishop d3. We play this setup, bishop g7.
Okay.
Now we go h3.
It's important, yeah, because if you go knight f3, there would be bishop g4, perhaps.
Yes. Yes, or first maybe a6, a4, and then bishop g4. That's actually the correct move order.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, I got it. Because sorry, here bishop d3, bishop g7. If knight f3, a6, a4, and this is what. And bishop g4. Sorry, what am I doing? Bishop g4. Yeah. And now you are able to maybe take and then play knight d7. But if you play directly bishop g4, and I think it's interesting, is I think you have queen a4 then.
Yes.
Then save
I think this might be an interesting opportunity. And the knight goes to d2 in most of the cases. Knight d2, knight c4 to put pressure against the d6 pawn. So the bishop only stands well on g4 if he can take the knight. So, and in any other cases, it's not so well placed. So we play h3. This is a prophylactic idea.
Okay, h3.
Black usually goes castles.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we go knight f3. And this is the beginning of the variation. And I think this is the easiest way of playing the position. Alexei Dreyev wrote a book about this setup a few years ago. Actually, only one book on this h3, e4, bishop d3, knight f3 variation with the white pieces. And I had several games against players around 2200. And in the book, you can find most of my games with my own annotations and with my experience and the ideas which I learned during those games. And I think this is very cool because white has a standard plan. And I think it's easy to play those kind of positions where you've got a standard plane. So for example, whenever black plays a6, we all the time play a4. This is a very important move in order to stop d5. Yeah, in order to stop d5. And for example, black usually goes rook e8. To put pressure against the pawn on e4, we go short castle. And for example, knight bd7. This is a very common move. I think, if I'm correct, this was a Karpov versus Timan game from Tilburg like 30 years ago. And white has a very easy setup, which brings him an advantage. We place the rook on e1, we place the bishop on f4, and later we will play knight d2 and knight c4. That's the usual way of playing the position. And I think this is easy to understand, and I think the readers will like it because it's just flexible, not too much theory, and in some cases we can play e5 as well and break through in the center. We have the bishop on f4.
Beautiful. So it's a very standard, straightforward line, and I think a very good suggestion against the Benoni. And I also think it's a very easy line to master. Nothing out of the ordinary. Brilliant. I want to
Yeah.
thank Kishore Hazarika ji for becoming the pillar of Indian chess, a member. Thank you so much, Kishore. And Samir Sheikh, who sent in a super chat. Thank you. Sarvanand says, why is that almost everyone prefers only this setup for white? Sarvanan is an IM,
Well, I think
and he is a very well-known trainer. I don't know if you've seen his video where he discusses chess books with me, and it's a very nice one, very knowledgeable chess player. So his question is, why does everyone choose this setup as white?
I think this is the easiest to learn and the easiest to play. So if somebody wants to learn something much, much, much sharper, there are good variations in connection with F4. So very quick F4 and D5 ideas. But if you want to master that one, you need to learn lots of theory. And according to my best knowledge, if you master this variation, it's more practical, easier to learn, and you don't need to update it every week. So like you can, Karpov played it several times 30 years ago and still one of the best. And I think it will be the best for many, many years. So I think it's more practical, but maybe Black has some other options as well. Not only just this system, but also White can choose from several other things.
Margel Roland says, what about B5 in this position, which is the main line here?
Yeah, B5 is the main line. I had a few games for this exact position. And one very interesting variation is bishop takes B5. In the book, I'm going to discuss knight takes B5. I think that's a better one. But let's ask the viewers what comes after bishop takes B5. Why is it?
Why did Black just give up a pawn just like that? Why did bishop B5? So what is Black's idea in giving up the pawn? Try to figure out what is the best move here. I think this is, yes, the voice is breaking slightly, guys, because maybe it's because I have just changed all the settings and the room is too hot right now. And that could be the reason, because of overheating. There is a small crack in the voice from Armin. But yes, Peter Cavanaugh, you are right. And Paolo Nanelli, also you are right. Knight takes e4 is the tactic that works here.
Yeah, but still this variation is not that easy. So knight takes e4, I can recapture. He goes queen a5 check, knight f2 d2, queen takes b5, knight takes d6, queen a6, and knight second to c4. And this is still a variation where I think white is a bit better. I had a few games like this against some grandmasters as well. I think this is absolutely risk-free. So white is playing only for 2 results, win or draw. So I think this is secure. So if somebody wants to play something safe, this is a good one. Or if you want to play something more ambitious, knight takes b5 in move 10 is my recommendation. And I think one of the ideas of this move is to avoid this long theoretical stuff and this long theoretical variation. And white usually just keeps the knight on b5. So for example, here in this position, knight takes e4. Isn't it losing after bishop takes e4? And
there's knight g5 here?
I think this is very risky.
No, this is a mistake, perhaps, but
yeah, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, knight g5 is the move.
Yeah, knight g5. Yeah, knight g5.
And if h6 here, then I think there's this very well-known move. Maybe I'll ask the chat here, and maybe I'll ask Armin one question today. You know, he's been asking me so many questions. So, white to play now. What to do here?
Well, my first intuition tells me that I need to do something on the e file. So maybe knight e6.
You're too strong. Yeah, I can't fool you. Yes, you are right. Exactly. Knight e6 is the correct move.
Yeah, so I think knight e6 is correct.
After you take, this is hanging, and it's not such a great position. Very cool. Or even, I mean, I guess you can even castle, and white is just better. Okay.
Yeah, so this Benoni is a pretty good stuff
Nice.
from White's point of view.
Got it. Okay. So here, that covers all the 5 systems, and it's been a great educational stream. What I would suggest is for all the people here, whatever we have discussed here, I'll put up a link, and you guys can get the moves that have been discussed here. You can then check it out. Also, it's giving you the direction where you can play. And so if you want more details and you want to know everything very specifically, then go for the book, and it will have a lot more details, and you will understand it better. And I personally think, Armin, and maybe you can let me know if this thinking is correct, that once you learn an opening, it's very good to try it out against online players or your friends and so on, and then learn from it. And then quickly, because once you have an experience of playing it, you can improve faster because you relate to it much more.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. And I'm going to give practical tips for the players how to master the opening and how to practice it. So yes, I agree with you.
Brilliant. So Yaroslav Pors says rookie 8. Oh, Yaroslav Pors. What's your rating, Yaroslav? Because your comments are very to the point. So he says that in this position, rook e8 after knight b5 is the right move. But my suggestion to everyone is get the book and figure out what he has given here. Because I know that there are some games by Boris Avrukh and all very interesting games here, queen a4, and these are all these lines and such, and then the queen jumps from a4 to h4 and all that stuff happens in this line. So please check out the book for the recommendations. Christoph says very nice stream, Sagar and Armin, thank you, great to know. And also I think Christoph got some ideas now for his second GM norm, and maybe he'll use it in his tournaments. Sachin Ranade, thanks Armin for doing this. Ruffle X says, is this book going to be on forward chess?
I think so. Yes, I think in a few weeks. So the book was published only on last Friday, so it's brand new, and it will be possible to buy it on Amazon as well in a few days. So not only just in the official website, but there are other websites as well. But the easiest way is to get it from the official website.
Okay, brilliant. Rohit Parikh says, I'm 1d4 and this has opened up so many avenues for me to explore. Peter Cavanaugh says, fantastic stream. Be sure to check out the description for info on the book. Great. So please check out. Yeah. And mods, if you can spam the link of the book, that would be nice for people who want to buy it. And also General Trend says, I played e4 too much. Now I will try d4 variations, which I learned today. Very cool. That's the idea. Safal Fazil, thank you Sagar and Armin for such a wonderful stream. I learned a lot. Yaroslav Por says, thank you very much. I have to buy this book. It has to be amazing. Thanks a lot, both IMs. Great. I'm glad that a lot of people are going to at least check out this. And for me personally, Armin, I'm going to also check out the book, and I'm going to play a lot more d4. And if I have some problems or something, I'll ping you and ask for your personal help.
Okay, thank you very much for the possibility, and I'm so happy that the viewers enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody learned a few new ideas at least.
Yes, absolutely. Take care, and from all the way from Budapest, it was nice to connect to you, from Mumbai to Budapest. And see you soon.
Yes.
And guys, very soon we'll have Armin's brother Christoph Juhasz on stream, and we're going to do something very interesting with him. It will be a completely different topic that we'll talk. Of course, chess will be involved, but there will be much more to learn from that. So stay tuned and see you. Please give my greetings to Christoph and also Agoston. And if you meet to Joseph Horvath, who has been a great inspiration and teacher to me.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys, that was Armin here, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Sarvanan says, thanks, Armin. Well done, Sagar. Thank you, Sarvanan, for following, and some new ideas here for everyone. Try it out. And also, guys, I want to share with you, you know, this small echo and all this stuff, my laptop getting heated and all, I switched on the fan and everything is good, was because of the new setup. I mean, setup is the same, but look at this. Okay, I'm going to show you. I hope you can see. See, first of all, there's this blue color. There's a small filter, so you won't see it. Let me remove the filter first. Let's see if I can remove the filter. Okay, I'm gone here. but I want to show you something very interesting. No, I can't seem to do it, but I want to show you my room. Maybe I'll do a tour later, but look at this blue. This is red, or I don't know what Amruta says. This is yellow, and the room is fully colorful now. So it's like very colorful room, and I'll do some kind of a small tour or something to show you the colors. It's just to make myself more happy and upbeat, and also there was a lot of it looked very bad, so we painted it with all the different colors. Okay, so yes, Armin says, Christoph says, can't wait for our stream, my friend. Great, we will do it soon, and until then, guys, take care, and we'll be back soon with more streams. I have some more interesting ideas planned in the coming days, but keep playing and keep improving, and do like the stream, do subscribe to Chess Base India if you haven't done so already. Bye bye, guys. See you.